That was the end of that. So now we have one more performer this afternoon for you. He's one performer again doing an absolutely brilliant show on Fringe, and last year he did a wonderful show, particularly about science as well. So please welcome to the stage, Yianni.
Good morning, good afternoon. I'm not happy following that. It's really not fair. You kind of go, oh yeah, now I've made a whisk fly, now you can do some jokes. No, that was brilliant, wasn't it? It was absolutely amazing. I've had this Festival of Spoken Word in my diary since it was announced, and I'm definitely going to be there. Is it 6:45 tonight?
6:45 at the Sin Club.
That's right, and that's how much I'm really going to be there. I fucking knew what time it was going to be. Yeah, and I'm definitely going to be there because my show's a bit earlier than that, at 4:15 at the Sin Club, so you should come along, stay. I've got a quick set today, so I'm just going to talk about the Big Bang and its progression to the present. No, the Big Bang happened a long time ago. It happened 13.7 billion years ago to our best of our knowledge, and that obviously is not an exact figure. But you know, we think we know it within about 0.3, 0.4 of a billion years, which is fair enough and fine as a degree of accuracy for determining the age of the universe. It's not so good if you're trying to invite some friends over to your place for a wine and cheese night. But no, it's actually, and it's not a very old term, Big Bang. It's actually only from the 1950s, and it was coined by a man named Frederick Hoyle. And he did not coin it because he thought it sounded like a really cool name. And he didn't coin it because he invented it. No, he coined it because he thought it was absolute bullshit. Right? Like a lot of people at that point, he thought the idea that the universe would come out of nothing into something, right, and grow was just ridiculous, right? And that was in the 1950s. Now, before the 1950s, Big Bang was the name of an annual swingers event. And there was a big legal battle between the swingers and the scientists. But, you know, the universe will always win that because it owns the court. So, but I've had an interest in space and physics and stuff since I was about 7 or 8 years old. And it wasn't like my dad or my mum, like a lot of people kind of get into space that way. I actually had a friend's dad who was really, really into space, and he like told me all those things. Like, you know, I remember one day we were standing under a moonlit sky. I mean, my friend was there too. It wasn't weird. Hey, Yianni, why don't you come stand under a moonlit sky with me? Why don't you maintain your boundaries? No, and he told me that thing that many of us have probably been told while standing under a night sky, just looking up, staring at stars. And he told me that thing. He said, "Yianni, see that star over there?" And I was like, "Yeah." He said, "That's 10 light years away. Do you know what that means?" And I was like, "No." He said, "That means that the light from that star takes 10 years to travel from there to here." And I was like, "Oh, is light fast?" He said, "It's very fast. It's very fast." Right? And I was like, and he said, "You know what else that means, Yianni? Do you know what else that means? That means that when we look at that star now, we're not seeing the way the star looks now. We're seeing the way the star looked 10 years ago." When you're a kid, that blows your fucking mind. You're like, "Oh, time travel. 10 years ago, the year 2001. It's like 1,000,000 years ago." He said, "No, it's not 1,000,000 years. It's 10 years." I was like, "Oh." He said, "But you see that star there? That's 100 light years away. So when we look at that star, we're not seeing the way that star looks now. We're seeing the way it looked 100 years ago." And I was like, "Oh, 100 years. 1911. That's like 1,000,000 years ago." I was like, "Yianni, it's not 1,000,000 years. It's 100 years." He said, "Do you see that star there, Yianni?" I was like, "Yeah, how many of these are we doing?" He said, "A few." He said, "So you're looking a little bit impatient, you may as well just get comfortable." He said, "That star, Yianni, is 6,432.634 light years away." And I went, "Wow." 4,553 BC. In June the 6th at 4:33 p.m. That's like 1,000,000 years away. And he said, "Yianni, for a kid who could do that calculation, you are struggling with a much simpler concept." said, what can sound complex? He said, no, you see that star, that final star. You're going to like that star, right? Because that star is 1,000,000 light years away. And I was like, oh, wow, that's ages away. But I like the phrase light year. I like it because it's a distance, but it's a time. Isn't it? This is a light year, right? And year is normally a measure of time, but a light year is not a measure of time. A light year is a measure of distance. Specifically, it is the distance that light will travel in a year, which is an interesting way of expressing a distance. Because, the thing is, we only do that with light. We don't do that with anything else. You're like, oh, how far is it from your house to his house? Oh, it's about 12 hamster hours. I'm sorry, hamster hours? I don't understand. What is that? It's the distance that a hamster will travel in an hour. Because we never do that, because that raises, if anything, more questions than it answers. Because you need a lot of supplementary information about this hamster. Is it an adult hamster? Is it a child hamster? Is it a particularly intrepid hamster? What is the hamster's motivation for making this journey? Is there food waiting at the end of this journey? Is there a lady hamster at the end of this journey? We don't do that. And I do find that quite interesting. And one of my major interests that I do love reading about is quantum physics. Like, it gives me a massive hate on it. Thanks very much. Really appreciate it. The 3 claps there. But I want you all to know that in an alternate universe where you all got that joke, the whole fucking room was clapping. Yeah. You all loved it. It's permeated all parts of my life now. Like, I just want everything in my life to do with quantum physics. Like, my favourite porno now is Schrodinger's flat. Yeah, there's 2 pussies and 2 boxes, and I know a lot of you sitting there kind of going, Yianni, I don't know how far you're going to be able to work this quantum porno analogy. Just wait till I tell you about the double slit experiment. And I know, now that we've gotten on to quantum physics, a lot of you are sitting there going, well, this is all well and good, Yianni, but are you going to talk about Heisenberg uncertainty? And the answer is maybe. Okay, so the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, if you don't know, and you've been under a rock, well, maybe or maybe not, it depends how you're trying to measure the rock, but no, it works like this. It basically says this. It says if you take any, I don't have props unfortunately, so I use imaginary things. I don't know what that was, but it certainly can be described by science. Right, so the Heisenberg uncertainty principle says if you take any particle, right, in the entire universe, it doesn't matter which one, so just take your favourite, and just take it, and you can never know with absolute certainty both of its location, right, which is where it is, and its direction, okay, so what it's doing, right. You can never know with absolute certainty both, and the more precisely you wish to measure one, then the less precisely you can know the other. So there's always a trade-off, right? So basically, the more you try and pin down where it is and what it's doing, where it is and what it's doing, the more and more precisely you try and pin those things down, that the particle doesn't like this, and it just sort of gets more and more energetic, and eventually when you really try and pin it down, it's just gone. And you can't know, right? And I actually find that quite reassuring, because it is nice to know that at its core, the universe exhibits male behaviour. Where were you last night? What were you doing? Who were you with? Fuck off! Just leave me alone, seems to be what the universe is saying to us. I just want to finish by talking about dark matter. So can I ask a question? How many people should put your hands up and keep them up if you've heard the phrase dark matter? Alright, everyone's heard it now. It's pretty good. Keep your hands up. Right, now keep your hands up if you understand what it is. One particularly bold guy at the back kind of going, yeah, that's right, the same guy clapped in the corner. This is a joke, actually. Yeah, because I say if you put your hands down, that puts you pretty much in good company with the vast majority of physicists working today. Because let me explain dark matter to you from my understanding of it, from what I've read and understand. And the way it works is this. Okay, now All you need to know about dark matter is, number one, can't see it. Okay? Number two, there's absolutely no way of detecting it. But it's definitely there because if it's not there, then all of our equations are wrong. Let's have a look at that again. You can't see it. There's absolutely no way of detecting it, but it's definitely there because if it's not there, then all of our equations are wrong. And we had a name for that at primary school. It's called All of Your Equations Are Wrong. I wish you could have done that at primary school. You get your test back and they'll be like, Yianni, you did not do very well in your arithmetic test. 2 plus 2 does not equal 6. 2 plus 2 equals 4. And I would say, yes. You would think so. But we're failing to take into account is the dark number. The dark number, Yianni, what is that? It is whatever it needs to be to make my answer correct. Today it is 2, but tomorrow it may be 4. Or it is the dark number, it is an enigma. I should just call it the remainder. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, get along to the Festival of Spoken Nerd today and do keep going to the free shows because it's a brilliant Edinburgh institution and does and is good for everyone. So thank you very much for being on.